Well guys, I got all of the ABS sensors out, both the fronts and the rears. I installed my stainless steel braided brake lines, front and rear. And I actually just weighed all these sensors. I was curious of how much they would weigh. And altogether, it was 2.2 pounds. So yeah, a little bit of weight savings there. I mean, not much, but you know, every little bit counts. So now I have the ABS module and wiring harness removed from inside the car. I have all the ABS lines. So that leaves me the hardware inside the engine bay. I think you guys know what I'm talking about. This is probably why, you know, most of you guys are here, or this is the big boy. This is the ABS, I believe it's called the modulator. But anyways, this guy weighs quite a bit, and then it has all of these brake lines that snake around the back of the engine bay on the firewall that go all the way back there. Now, I originally even wasn't going to eliminate my ABS, but it does not work. And it always gives me a code for it, and it's extremely expensive to replace. I've also read that the 94 to 97 Integra ABSs aren't really worth saving. Now, the 98 and above I've heard are worth saving, but these simply are not. They're a different type of unit. Anyways, while I have my intake manifold off, I figured this would be a perfect time, because obviously ample room, to eliminate all of these ABS lines. Well, let's get to it. So first, I'm going to go ahead and undo all of these lines that are connected to this module. I do have a flare nut wrench. These are 10 millimeter. All right, guys, as you can see, I got all these lines loose. But I think before I proceed forward with removing these lines, I think I'm actually going to concentrate over on this black box. And I've already disconnected these two wiring harnesses right here. So I think I want to remove this next. This will give me more room to actually pull this out. So if you can see, there's a power wire that runs, this is the ABS motor relay. So this is kind of like the fuse box for it. There is a power wire that runs all along here, and it actually connects to the positive end of the battery terminal. So I'm going to undo that, disconnect this. I'm going to cut these clips off, undo these two bolts, and then let's see where that gets us, so I can go ahead and try to take this part off. All right, guys, so check this out. I got the power wire removed and this box removed from the ABS module bracket. And here is the wiring harness for it. And it looks like it splits into the main harness right here. So I really don't want to unravel this entire harness at this point. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and cut these wires off right here and then wrap it in electrical tape, and then I can then disconnect this and get rid of this. Well guys, there it is. I cut the wiring harness on this for now. This is not going to be a permanent way to leave this. Once I get these hoses out of the way, then I'll go back and give this a more clean cut on this wiring harness and, you know, tape this up with electrical tape. But I now have more room. It's already looking cleaner. I'm ready to remove this. I have that out of the way. I can now see the 4 bolts of which this is connected to the car. Will come out as one big module. There's 1 bolt there, down here, and then 1 right here. So those are 4 12 millimeter bolts. Oh yeah. You guys ready for this? Here we go. Oh my God, this is heavy. Wow, a lot heavier than I thought it was gonna be. This thing has definitely got some weight to it. Check this guy out. All right, let's see what we are left with. Woo! Nice. I'll have to do some cleaning. But yeah, looking good, looking good. All right, guys, so all I am left with is all these brake lines. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this off. I've actually already unbuttoned these clips right there. There are several of these clips that keep these brake lines together. This top one right here actually goes to the passenger side brakes right here. So I'm actually gonna kind of disconnect this one from all of them, and then I'll handle that one in a little bit. but also there is a bracket, another plastic bracket you can see down here, and right here there's a, looks like a 10 millimeter bolt. So I'm gonna go ahead and undo that bolt so I can get this freely moving. All right guys, I went ahead and undid the top brake line from these clamps right here, because this one, like I said, is the passenger side brake line. So I went ahead and disconnected it from the brake line in the wheel well, and I'm trying to just get this guy out of here. Got it. Check this out. All right, first brake line is out. So it looks like I am going to have to undo the couple bolts that hold on this fuel filter housing right here. I'm gonna have to pull this away from the firewall because the brake lines do come back here. I'm also probably gonna have to take off this clip on the firewall right here. I'm not sure if it's a prop valve or not, but I am going to be replacing this with a 4040 prop valve. In order to run non-ABS on your Integra, you have to have a 4040 prop valve. All right guys, so I have moved the fuel filter housing. You can see that there is like a bracket on this bolt that's coming out of the firewall, so I'm gonna have to unhook that. But also, I'm having some trouble with this yellow clip right here. All right, so for now, I just cut this off to where both these two ABS lines could go through. Whenever I have these wires out of the way, I'll figure out a way to actually get this clip off the firewall. This is where I'm at on the ABS lines. I'm gonna go ahead and undo this clip right here. This back one is connected to the clutch master cylinder, so you know you're gonna wanna leave that, so you're gonna have to undo that and make sure you leave that one. And then I'm gonna undo this clip right here, and then I'll have to find the one that connects to the driver's side, that goes into the driver's side wheel well, because I'm gonna have to remove that line separately. And then of course I'm going to loosen the lines on the master cylinder. And then I also need to loosen all of these. I finally got my flare nut wrench in, my Mac flare nut wrench, and I finally got these loose. So I'm gonna go ahead and loosen these up first, take this little junction right here out, and then I'm gonna deal with these clips, and I'll catch up to speed after that. All right guys, I have that valve out, and then I have these disconnected from the brake lines, and then I followed a line that goes to the driver's side wheel well. So this is right here. I think I'm going to try to remove this separately because it's right here in the wheel well, and I don't know how I would cut that. I don't really want to get, you know, brake fluid everywhere. Of course, there's none in there. Maybe I can bend this back and then, you know, safely get that out of the wheel well. And then I believe I have all this disconnected, so I believe I can take all these out once I figure out if I'm going to cut that one right there or bend it or what. All right guys, I just used my grinder cutter and I just cut this off right there off of this brake line, so I can easily move this out of the engine bay whenever I take out the entire brake line, ABS brake lines. So yeah, I think I'm about ready to pull it. See what I can do. All right guys, you can see my dilemma here. Here's the start of the ABS lines, and they are tangled around my ABS lines. So I don't think that I can finagle this around. So it looks like I'm gonna have to cut them. I can either probably cut them maybe right here or right here. But either way, I don't think I can move these around. Well guys, I got all the ABS lines out, and I even did some engine bay cleaning. I probably wouldn't have fully cleaned the engine bay, but whenever I had to cut those lines in half in order to get around these AC lines, as you would imagine, using my cutter, you know, it put debris everywhere, and I didn't know if, you know, it got brake fluid everywhere. So, you know, if you don't know, brake fluid will eat paint. It's not good on paint. So Yep, I had to get my hose and just completely hose all this engine bay down, and then, you know, the box was right here, so I went ahead, you know, there's tons of caked on mud. I cleaned all that up, so I basically did a engine clean. I didn't do an engine detail, but yeah, I cleaned it up a lot. And then the wiring that was right here that went to the ABS box, I cut those short and I just put some harness electrical tape around that. So if I ever wanted to, I could take out all the wiring and de-lume it, take it out of the main harness, but I'm not gonna be doing that anytime soon because that is a huge project itself. I just need to put in the new kit, the Valix Racing. So I'm pretty excited about that.